You were running software that was never designed for you. It was written by every room that made you feel small. Every moment you said something and watched the other person's face to see if it landed correctly. Every achievement you stayed quiet about, not from humility, but from the specific, exhausting calculation of whether mentioning it would make people like you more or less. This software has a name. It is called the approval protocol, and it is the most energy-draining, opportunity-destroying process your mind can run because it was built on a false premise. The premise that your value is something others grant you. It is not. Today we are going to do something that the standard confidence advice industry has never done, because the standard confidence advice industry is selling you symptoms. Stand tall. Make eye contact. Speak louder. These are outputs of confidence. They are not its source. Telling you to make eye contact when the approval protocol is running at 94% CPU is like telling a computer with a virus to just display better graphics. We are going to the source code. We are going to locate the exact architectural flaw that is producing anxiety. And we are going to replace it, not patch it, with a process that actually runs. The process is called internal sufficiency. And once it is installed correctly, it changes not just how you act in social environments, it changes what social environments can do to you. Social anxiety is not a character flaw, it is not timidity, it is not a personality type you were born with and are stuck with. It is a logical output of a specific operating configuration. Here is that configuration. Your system has been set up to measure your worth as a real-time variable. It changes based on input from external sources, what people said, how they responded, whether they approved, and because it is a variable, not a constant, it requires continuous monitoring. You cannot simply be in a room, you must perpetually track how the room is processing you. This is an enormous computational overhead. While every other person in that room is thinking about themselves, their own calculations, their own monitoring, their own social tracking, your system is running all of that and trying to simultaneously manage how you are landing in their perception. You are playing two games at once and performing poorly in both. The fix is not to care less about what people think. That is a suppression strategy and it does not work. The fix is to change the source of your value from a live external feed to a static internal constant. When your worth is no longer a variable that fluctuates with social input, the monitoring process becomes unnecessary. The approval protocol shuts down on its own. Not because you forced it to, because the system no longer requires it. Module 1. Compression. The fastest way to know if you're running on external power is your broadcasting behavior. When you win, is your first impulse to tell someone. Not for utility, but to watch them validate you. That is a confirmation that your internal battery is dead. Compress the broadcast. Do not announce wins. Do not circulate achievements. Allow them to be discovered. When you allow discovery, there is no transaction. Information found is valued more than information offered. Module 2. Flaw neutralization. Anxiety is exploited through open ports, the things about yourself you haven't accepted. Your height, your bank balance, your history. If you don't claim them, they are vulnerabilities. Self-ownership. Name the flaw accurately. Not, I'm in a financial transition, but I am broke. Sit with it until the emotional charge hits zero. When there is no gap between your self-assessment and theirs, there is nothing to defend. Accurate self-knowledge plus zero emotional debt equals authority. Module 3. The value constant. A person running on external power collapses when the room isn't responding. They fidget, they check their phones to look busy. Build private integrity. The standards you maintain when no one is watching. Every time you sit with a win privately, you reinforce the principle that the win has value independent of endorsement. Validation, when it arrives, is a luxury, not a fuel. Module 4. The opinion protocol. To a system calibrated for approval, disagreement feels like a threat. You soften your position to reduce friction. That isn't open-mindedness, it's a system crash. Hold the position with minimum output. No defense, no counterattack. Simply, I like it. That's not for me. These statements require no supporting architecture. The confidence isn't in the force of the statement, it's in the absence of a need for them to agree. When internal sufficiency is running, the changes are not dramatic, they are architectural. You stop announcing and start inhabiting. You stop defending and start existing. You stop monitoring the room and start being present in it. And paradoxically, not as a strategy but as a side effect, the room responds to this differently than it responds to performed confidence. Because performed confidence is legible, people detect the effort. They feel the monitoring. They sense the need beneath the display. What they cannot manufacture, a response to what triggers something involuntary in human social processing, is the person who genuinely does not require their approval. Not aggressively, not coldly, just completely. That person is interesting. That person is safe to approach without obligation. That person seems like they know something. And in a specific sense, they do. They know that their value is not on loan from the room. It never was. You just forgot who was holding it. Social anxiety is not a personality type. It is a process, a specific, identifiable process that is running in your system and consuming resources your life requires for something else. You now have the architecture of the replacement. If this gave you something real, subscribe, because the next episode of this series goes directly into the room with you. The specific social environments where these protocols are tested hardest, and exactly how the upgraded system handles them. The work begins now, not when you feel ready. The system doesn't wait for ready, it reboots.